Hey there. In this video, we're going to look at some of the fancy date filters that are just a couple mouse clicks away here in Power Query. So to start off with, we're in our simple toolbar transformations workbook. We're in the filter sheet, and rather than getting our data from external workbooks or CSVs or things like that, to keep things simple, we're just going to load data straight from tables in this workbook. So I'm going to click here in the table. I'm going to head up to Power Query if I'm not already there, and I'm going to click on Get Data from Table. Okay, let's see if I can't resize this just a little bit. Okay, so we've got a couple columns here. We've got a timestamp column that has a date and a time, a date column that has a dates in it, and a time column that has these fractions, which look kind of funny. Not to get off on too much of a tangent, but if you know anything about Excel, anytime you've got a date, there's always a time associated with it, and if you don't specify, the time is always just midnight. So here in Power Query, we're going to actually transform this from a date time to a straight date, so there's no time information in it. That's pretty easy. We're going to right-click on the column and change the type from date time to date. And when you load time from Excel, you'll get fractions, which will kind of funny in this, because in Excel, time is stored as fractions of a day. So like 0.5 is noon because it's halfway through a day. 0.25 is 6 a.m. because it's 25% of the way through a day. And 6 p.m. is 0.75 because it's 75% of the way through a day. So to convert these into time, which we're not even really going to use those filters, but just so you can see how it's done, we're going to right-click on time, change the type from decimal number to time. Boom, now we've got them as times. Okay, on to the filters, which is what we're here for. So here we've got a bunch of sales data, and we want to start filtering it. So let's say that we want to filter to only look at sales that happened on the 4th of July, because that's a big sales day for us. To do that, I'm going to, in fact, I don't even need to click on the column. I'm going to click on this little downward triangle here, and it's going to open up all my filter options. Now, the simple way I can do it, and for something as simple as this is probably how I would normally do it, is just uncheck select all, click on the one that I want, or I could click on a couple, but now we just want to look at the 4th, and click OK. So now we've added a step where we started with this table right here, and we filtered it down to only look at things that happened on July 4th. Okay, let's get rid of that step, go backwards. Okay, let's do the same thing. Let's do it a slightly different way. Rather than pruning the tree, as I call it here, or filtering on the tree, we're going to use these special date filters. So we only want stuff on the 4th of July, so let's go to Date Filters and Equals. It's going to bring up a dialog here, and we're just going to say 7/4/2015 to only look at stuff that happened on July 4th, 2015. Great, we added a step where we filter down to July 4th, 2015. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and remove that step. Let's say we don't want to look at just stuff on July 4th. Let's say that we do a lot of sales on the 2 days before July 4th. So the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. So we're going to filter not just to one day, but to a range of days. So we're going to click on the triangle again, go to Date Filters, and go to Between. We're going to look at dates between. We're going to look at dates between July 2nd, so 7/2/2015, and 7/4/2015. Oh, let's see. Oh, extra slash there. That's not good. Change that to a regular slash. Click OK. And now I've only got dates, sales that happened between the 2nd and the 4th. Notice I'm going to go to the gear icon here. If I want it to be not after or equal to, but just after July 2nd, so I could just say is after, and that way it won't include July 2nd, it'll only include July 3rd and 4th. I can do things like that. Okay, let's get rid of that step. Let's say that we only want to look at stuff between or before July 15th. Also pretty easy. Click on the downward triangle, Date Filters, Before. Again, I think you're seeing a pattern here. 7/15/2015. Now we're only going to look at things before the 15th of July. I can also do is before equal to if I want to include the 15th of July. Click OK. And now I've got that sales data. Okay, so keep in mind that right now, as I'm recording this, it is currently the 6th of September, 2015. So let's say that I only want to look at sales from yesterday. I want to include that step in my query. I can come up here to the downward triangle, click on that, go to Date Filters. I'm going to go down to Day and click on Yesterday. And it's only going to show me stuff from yesterday. Click OK. So keep in mind, today is the 6th of September, so it's only showing me stuff from the 5th of September. Also keep in mind that this filter is relative to the day that's run. So if I run this same query, 2 days from now, rather than seeing stuff from the 5th, I'm going to see stuff from the 7th. Okay, because the date of September 6th isn't hard-coded in. What it's checking is relative to the date that the query is run. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. What if I want to see sales from the last 2 weeks from today, the previous 2 weeks? Again, pretty easy. Downward triangle, date filters. I'm going to go in the previous what? In the previous 2 days? Nope, not 2 days, 2 weeks. Click OK. All right, and I think you get the idea. If we wanted to come up here, we can go to the gear icon. We could change this from 2 weeks to days or months or quarters, years. I think you could see how that works. Or let's say that this is a forecast. Rather than saying in the previous, I could say, show me the stuff from the next 2 weeks, right? And I could see stuff from 2 weeks forward from the day the query is run. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove that step. And finally, it's not going to be too meaningful here because the data starts in July 1st, but we can also do a filter where we go, come down. We can also do year to date. So it's only going to show us stuff in the current year up to today. So if I click on this, it's not really going to be super meaningful because the dates start in July, but it'll filter down to everything in this year, but nothing past today, if that makes sense. Okay, I'll show you one last one as long as I'm here. Again, doesn't really make sense in this particular data set, but let's say I had several years worth of data, and what I want to do is I only want to look at data in December, because December is sort of our busy month. That's when we do most of our sales. I could come, I'm sorry, I went down a little too fast. I can come to the filter. I go to date filters, and I go to month, and I could say, hey, I only want to look at sales in December. So if I've got, in this example, I've only got 1 year's worth of sales. In fact, I don't even have anything for December. But if I had, say, 5 years worth of sales, I could only look at things that happened in December. So I could have sales from December in 2015, 2014, 2013, 2012, so on and so forth. That could be kind of useful as well. Click on that. Okay, and like I said, there's no such data exists in this particular data set. Okay, well, there's several more of these in here, and you could kind of look through them. But I think based on what I've shown you, you sort of can get a pretty easy idea of how they work and what you can do with them. So I don't need to show you all of them. Okay, hope that was helpful. I will see you next video.